She's a fine tennis player. I just wish she'd tidy up a little bit.
She was a step in the right direction for me, and I probably was a step in the wrong direction for her.
I was like, why does he want to practice with me?
Who doesn't like to peek behind the curtain of sports figures' lives? Photos of them doing everyday things are coveted. A scandal is tantalizing. A romance? A love story? Those are truly intriguing, and when it's an athlete involved with another athlete, well, that just takes the cake. When it comes to sports power couples, tennis greats Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf are royalty. A crush turned into a courtship, turned into a lasting marriage. These two have declared their love very publicly, but have also maintained a privacy that has allowed their two children to lead relatively normal lives.
I realize the words have yet to be invented that are large enough, colorful enough, or true enough to express the heart and soul of this woman that I love.
To hear that you loved so much is amazing. Tennis has allowed me to get in this incredible journey. And the best part about this journey has been it led me to you.
The journey began in the early 90s, at least for Andre.
How long did you fancy her for before you were really able to ask her out?
9 years? Something like that.
So you say 9 months.
In 1992 at Wimbledon, Agassi won the men's title while Graf won the women's. Agassi thought this was his chance. He had heard the two winners were paired for the first dance at the post-tournament ball.
They didn't have it that night, so...
I worked them real hard to cancel that, yeah.
So you were disappointed there was no dance?
I was looking forward to
were you
twirling
relieved?
her across the dance.
Oh, yes, because I was practicing with my brother, and it was one of those things I've never learned how to dance the proper way. So he taught me a couple steps because he did, and it wasn't pretty, so I wasn't looking forward to that in that sense.
Andre had a photo op with Steffi at the ball, but a better opportunity would have to wait.
What was your initial reaction when Andre wanted to meet you?
Our first longer meeting was when we did hit in Key Biscayne earlier in '99, and our coaches kind of set up the whole practice, and I was like, why does he want to practice with me? And what, I mean, he's married, I've got a boyfriend.
Brad Gilbert, the coach of Andre at the time, asked me if I couldn't possibly arrange a meeting between the two, since Andre liked her very much, and I said it's very easy to do. All you need to do is book a practice court the hour before I book it, and when we arrive, I will take my time to put my tennis shoes on, so the two of them have time to play a little bit of tennis, and who knows where we'll lead.
I was taken by Steffi back in the early 90s, and futile efforts to get to meet her and talk to her then. But then we went on with our lives. I got married, and I spent a few short years in a marriage. And when I was coming out of this, you sit there and you realize so much about yourself when you live a difficult relationship, and you think about what it is you want for your life. And so I started to think about this at that stage. And it was before Steph even really knew that I was going to be getting a divorce or anything. So I was trying before she knew I was trying.
Now, did you feel the same way when you first saw Andre?
I was fascinated, absolutely, and very interested quickly. Attracted very quickly. It took us a few months, but then everything went really quick.
When Andre's divorce from actress Brooke Shields was finalized in 1999, he was able to officially turn his attention to Steffi. To outsiders, it was an unlikely pairing.
She's a fine tennis player. I just wish she'd tidy up a little bit.
What did you think of each other at that time? What did you know of each other?
She was a step in the right direction for me, and I probably was a step in the wrong direction for her back then. I don't know.
The wild and flashy American, the gracious and stoic German, how could it possibly work?
Andre had his wild years. At that time, did you ever think of getting married one day to this guy?
No, I never knew that I wanted to get married. That was not in my plans. Even when we met, we were talking about children and marriage, and I was like, no.
Steffi's plans quickly changed. She and Andre got married in October 2001, just days before she gave birth to their first child.
And we got married. It was just her mom and my mom, and we were doing it at our house in the courtyard.
Wait, what? When they got married in 2001, Agassi was ranked 3rd in the world and 2 years prior had achieved a career Grand Slam. Graf had retired by then with 22 Grand Slam titles to her name, the second most of any woman in the open era of tennis. Where was their splashy wedding?
We wanted simple, you know, and that's one thing that Steph taught me in a lot of different ways. Life is about living. It's not about, you know, what you say, and it's about how you live. And it was a formality for us.
With the formality taken care of, their first son, Jaden, was followed 2 years later by daughter Jazz. While their simple life includes living in a 9,000 square foot mansion in Las Vegas, their priorities are their family and their charity work.
I started my foundation before the end of my career, something I'm really passionate about, helping traumatized children, traumatized to war, violence, and persecution.
Steffi's foundation is called Children for Tomorrow, while Andre's is the Andre Agassi Charitable Foundation.
So the school was started when?
Yeah, I started the school in 2001, and we built the school in the most poorest neighborhood of Las Vegas so that we could affect the children that needed it the most.
Not surprising that Agassi and Graf do charity work that helps children. As young tennis phenoms, their childhoods were certainly not typical. When it comes to their own children, they chose not to push them in the direction of tennis.
We'd be scared to death of what they're in for. I wouldn't say we wouldn't let them if there was a desire that they had to actually do it. But there's, you know, it's about nurturing or not nurturing.
Mom and Dad still spend time on the court, but they've traded racket size, joining the pickleball craze.
And it was a thrill to be on the court with Steph. It's been a thrill the last handful of months, just enjoying the game together and having another outlet in our lives to share. I mean, it either sort of ruins a relationship or solidifies it, so we're still here.
Solid is truly how this couple appears, and if you're not smiling enough at this point over this mushy love story, well, then listen to this.
I began several years ago on a small chalkboard sitting in our kitchen. A tradition that I've carried on every night, that at the end of each day, I have picked up the chalk and I've tried to express the many things you mean to me. Sometimes just a brief line, sometimes a short story, but always just the overflow from a grateful heart.